Hey, this is Doug Jones, also known as the Silver Surfer. You are listening to Nuff Said.
Welcome to Nuff Said. This is Season 2, Episode 1, Shadows. I was going to go with like White Shadow. I thought that'd be kind of cool, but you know, I don't know if that was appropriate for you a little, because I know you're, what are you, Mexican or something?
No. Well, that wasn't even close.
So we have a new lineup. It's a new season. We have a new lineup. We've kind of changed things up. If you listen to the show over the summer where we did the summer movie series, it was myself and Jonathan and Alil. And now that we are back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got Jack back and Alil is joining us. So here's your new team. Just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got some new team members here. And see if you can guess which one of us has brain damage. I am your host. I shouldn't say that because we're all our hosts. I'm one of your co-hosts. I am returning Rob Southgate.
I thought you said we all have brain damage. That's what I thought you were going with.
No, only two of us.
And you have to figure out which two.
Yeah.
And you would.
I think that just from me talking, they already know which one of us it is.
Yeah, and you at the end, if you figured out, you'd have virtual prize.
Yeah. All right, Jackie, just flip the cards. It's all three of us. So I'm returning Rob Southgate. With me is
Joyless Jacqueline Grosky.
Oh, and
the absorbing Alil.
Oh, very nice. So, Jack, you couldn't really make a reference. You are joyless because you didn't freaking watch the episode yet.
I was podcasting. What do you want me to do?
Oh, what a pro.
Multitask? Huh? Watch it while you're podcasting?
Yeah, really? No, don't do that. I want the podcast to be good. We want quality podcasts here, Jack. What were you podcasting tonight?
Oh, the new season of The Blacklist. It's very exciting.
Is it good?
It is really good. Although I'm not exactly happy with the master villain. I think he's like some weird 70s playbook, but he is kind of dastardly. So
okay, so it's like Burt Reynolds.
Kind of, yeah.
Or is it Dom DeLuise?
No, it
would be Burt Reynolds with Dom DeLuise as his henchman. That would be awesome.
It's kind of like no, it's more like Burt Reynolds with one hand.
Speaking of one hand, spoiler, we got things to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. So, yeah, there's a lot of new shows. Before we get into Nuff Said, I also want to give a shout out to Gotham, which I watched last night, and I did not think it was going to be that great, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Did either of you guys get to watch it?
I did not yet. I'm here in Atlanta, which is not my hometown, for business, and I did not get to see it because also the Chicago Bears were playing, and I know Rob, you don't know anything about that, so I had to pick my poison. So when I get home, it's on the DVR. We'll be watching it for sure, and then catching up on the podcast.
All right. Well, too bad for you because it was awesome, and you had to watch some kind of sports thing. So enjoy that.
I did enjoy it. The Bears won.
Right. Well, spoiler: I was going to watch it tonight. No, we know that's not true. Who cares, right? Like you couldn't watch Gotham anytime, too. And you know what? Gotham was awesome, but it was no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, Jack, did you watch Gotham?
I did not.
Of course you didn't, Jack. But you did watch Blacklist.
Isn't Halle Berry in Gotham?
You know, if she had been, I probably would have.
Did you watch her series over the summer? You were too busy. You couldn't. But did you watch any of that Extent or
no?
Extinct? Man, that looked bad. Did you watch it, Alil?
No, I didn't.
I will watch almost anything, and my God, I couldn't make it through the previews for that show.
What's going on?
Sorry to throw the barbs at your Halle Berry there, Jack.
I know, but you know what? I may have to give this whole thing up because as good as she looks, like who's ever getting her gigs is just the worst.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because man, that was the pits. Jada Pinkett Smith is in Gotham.
No, I know. I was just throwing that out there.
No, I was just telling Jack so that he knows because he'll go and be like, IMDb Gotham. I don't see her on here.
That lying bleep.
That rotten Hispanic a little.
Oh, yes. I am not Hispanic, just to let everybody know.
No. You know what? We'll keep your secret. So I want to talk about this episode. First of all, when we came into this tonight, there were all sorts of questions. There's a lot of stuff, even just for the season, but there were some major questions hanging over our head here. Biggest one to me was Fitz. As much as we all go, wow, Shield is in disarray, and what happened with Hydra, and Coulson's now director, like all that stuff that we got hit with at the end of last season, and Ward, what's going to happen with him? The one that I was really anxious to find something out about was Fitz, and I found that to be a very difficult part of the storyline. What did you think, Alel?
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it really is, because he's a great character. In season 1, him and Simmons together, and we're spoiling this, right? I mean, it's
yeah. This is what this show is. I mean, if you're listening to the show and you haven't watched the episode, Jack, tough to you, because we really need to be able to talk about everything that we saw, and that's how we always did it, right, Jack?
That is correct.
So you're going to get spoiled, but you know what? I don't think even getting spoiled, it would not take anything away from this episode. There was great action, lots of setup. This whole episode was just setup. And if this is how the season's going to go, I am happy.
So let me ask you this. Did Fitz cry, and did Simmons turn him down again?
No, because Simmons doesn't exist right now.
Oh, he's still at the... Wait a minute. No.
I'll tell you, Jack. Here's what happened with Fitz and Simmons. So the entire episode, we're seeing Fitz, and every time he talks, he's dropping words. It's kind of like listening to our podcast. Like, he's got a little bit of brain damage going on.
Oh, wow. And, yeah, maybe we have influenced the show.
Right? They redesigned the characters after our show.
Let's find some brain dead people to mimic this.
Well, these must be fans of the show. Let's speak to this demographic.
So, Fitz, have you solved the equation? The what?
Halle Berry?
Halle Berry?
Yeah. And there's Catwoman.
And how did they know I drool? It's a podcast. You can't hear me do that, but it happens.
Yeah. Oh, we hear it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
splashing buckets.
That's not drool.
Oh, gross. That's not the ice bucket challenge either.
It's coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. It's coffee after it's been filtered through your body. So
thanks for going there.
Yeah, I can't help it. I'm a little punchy. It's been a while since we've talked.
I know, this is very exciting.
So Jack, here's the deal. The whole time he's like dropping words, and he's trying to solve the cloaking on their planes and things. Look, I've got it. I just dropped the words right there. And he keeps talking to Simmons about it. And she just keeps asking very gently. She's like, "Are you sure you're okay?" And he gets kind of irritated with her, but he keeps, there's definitely that. It's still that same feel that you had last year between them, right?
Right.
So as we get to the end, Coulson is standing there and he's looking at Fitz through this monitor. And he is talking to these other guys in the room. And they say, "What about Agent Fitz?" And he says, "I don't know if he'll ever be able to solve anything again." He goes, "I don't think he's going to solve the problem we have in front of him, but I don't think he'll be able to do anything. He seems to be getting worse. There's definite damage." And he says, "And ever since Simmons left, he's so much worse." And this was an absolute shocker because, Jack, we saw Simmons through the whole episode. And as he's looking at Fitz on the monitor, you don't see her. You just see, it's like at an angle where you just kind of see him at the desk. And then it cuts to inside the room, and she's standing to his right. And from the angle the camera was at, that Coulson was looking at, she very well could be standing there, right?
Right.
Camera rolls around him, and you see she's not there.
What?
He's talking, he's having the conversation with an imaginary Simmons.
Oh.
And then he even puts his hand on his shoulder. It's like very loving. And he's like, "I'll be okay." Like as if she was behind him and put her hand on his shoulder. Oh my gosh, that ripped my heart out.
So he's like in La La Land and, trying to work at the same time.
It's very, very sad. It's a very tragic storyline. Now, Alil, what do you think? Do you think this is how we're going to go? Or do you think that we're going to get him back? Because I think Simmons is going to come back into the fold here pretty quickly. Do you think that he's going to start to get better? I mean, if he's in this condition, they don't have a use for him on the team.
No, and I think some of the season, I'm gonna say probably the quote unquote filler episodes, and we're talking about 22 episode seasons. So every TV series you have those.
Right.
It'll be episodes regarding him and what they can do to help him. You know, I mean they've used the alien serum on Coulson and on Skye. You know, what else does Fury have in that toolbox that
right,
that
the toolbox is important.
And
they made reference to the toolbox here, so we know this is going to be important. We're going to find a lot of things in those 084 bins in his toolbox. We're going to find out a lot of interesting stuff this season, I think.
Yeah, I mean they've set that up completely because, you know, and actually, you know, I know we're talking about Fitz here, but I want to go back to the beginning because the beginning to me was a surprise.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning. In fact, the beginning was awesome.
Surprise, yes. It opened up, and Jack, we're going to ruin this for you because it was an awesome surprise. It opened up with Agent Carter and the Howling Commandos.
I
very
know
cool.
it did.
Busting in on Hydra.
I can't wait for the Agent Carter series. This tweaked me so much. I was like, heck yeah, put it on right now.
Yeah, and if this is that series, if this is how it's going to be with the Commandos, which I think it's supposed to be.
It is.
And we're going to get Stark in it. We're going to get a lot of these other things. This is what I want to see. I'm really curious on this. I know on other people that I've talked to, they're, you know, everyone is kind of skeptical on a show that we kind of already know the end because we already know what happened because of Captain America and, you know, where we're at with S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. But some of these characters, even in that small role in the Captain America First Avenger, like Dum Dum Dugan and all these guys, I really loved. And I'd like to see some development with them.
2 seconds of him, and I was like, he's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. And it was great that they, you know, and it brought back that old feel with Hydra. And I'm like, this is the show. This was a teaser for what they're going to do. And I loved it.
Yeah, I really did too. And, you know, the other thing is, you know, when you're talking about shows like this and you go, oh, well, we already know how it's going to end, so the stakes aren't really there. But the stakes are. I mean, I don't go into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thinking that Coulson is going to die every week, right?
Right.
You know he's not. You don't go into, like, Breaking Bad even. Now, here's a show where the stakes are high, right? Are they really that high? Walt is going to make it
until the finale.
The end.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Agent Carter. Yeah, we know that she lives to be old because we saw her in Cap 2, but we don't know her story. We're seeing how S.H.I.E.L.D. started. It's not a story about her. It's a story about S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Howling Commandos. I want to see how things play out with Howard Stark. I want to see, you know, I want to see all that stuff. You know, there was another thing that I noticed when I was watching Captain America and they showed the World Expo or the Stark Expo. Did you notice right in front, there was that red suit at the expo?
Yeah.
I started thinking about it this week. I don't know why. I've been thinking about all this Captain America stuff. I watched Captain America 2 this week, so now I'm thinking all about Captain America again. Was that the Flame? Was that like a Flame suit? And if so, are we going to get like the Flame showing up on Agent Carter? You know who I mean? The character way before Johnny Storm.
You mean the original Torch?
Yeah, the guy who had a suit that did that.
I don't think he was a suit. He was an android.
No, there was the guy originally, the one who was with Captain America way back. It was a suit. I swear it was a suit.
I took that as to be that Howard was
like a prototype for Iron Man.
For an Iron Man, yeah. Kind of Howard had
I did
already
too,
thought of that.
Until this week when I was thinking about Agent Carter, I was watching Cap 2. I started thinking about just like what they're going to do in the Agent Carter series. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. That wasn't an Iron Man suit. That might be like a flame suit of some sort. And then I was thinking, I swear there was a character before the android thing that was like a suit that the guy wore. He was a military guy. And it was way back. It was like before even Marvel was Marvel.
Well, there's a character called Captain Flame. This is largely unknown World War II here with the ability to absorb, channel, and redirect fire.
That's might be who I'm thinking of, because I had a book that had like World War II comics in it. and it had a bunch of Captain America. That's where I first, like, when I was a kid, I learned about, like, the Red Skull and that kind of stuff. And it had these other companies' comics in there. And one of them was this Flame, who I believe was bought by Marvel or absorbed by Marvel, and he ended up in a couple of Captain America comic books.
I don't know.
This is, you know what? I'll tell you who this is a job for. This is a job for Charlie Esser, our blogger that writes Super Connectivity. He does all the research on this stuff. He knows all the Marvel history. Charlie, the challenge is on. Try to figure out what that was and what I'm talking about. This is the best thing we've ever had, you guys. When I'm wrong or when we're wrong, we could just say, Charlie, prove us right. Boys, he got a crappy job here.
I don't know if any one man has that amount of time.
Or that kind of superhuman ability.
Or the will for that low success rate to prove us right.
Oh, that hurts. That really hurts.
So Captain Flame he's in the All Winners Squad Band of Heroes, and they're saying he was in 5 of those issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
But so that may be a good kind of starting point. But that he definitely seems like a minor character, and he also struggles with homosexuality, which I guess is the Flame. There's kind of like
they did not.
I'm at Comic Vine, Marvel.
No way. Back then they used that? I mean, like, now you get that in the storylines, but they actually did that then, huh?
Well, see, the All Winter Squad, it says it started in 1998.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of something really old.
Yeah, no, this must be a more recent addition.
Okay. The Flame. That's the worst. That is the worst. Somebody should get fired for that one. Holy cow. Oh, no, I didn't mean fired. Fire. The horrible jokes are just coming fast and furious now.
Charlie's going to be working overtime.
Right. So, yeah, we saw the Howling Commandos. We saw Agent Carter. It was absolutely awesome. Herr Reinhardt was in it. We saw Hydra. Now, did he make a reference to the Red Skull?
Yeah, they did talk about him because he said the skull was dead.
Right. Okay, that's who he was talking about. I just wasn't sure because it went by very quickly, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, did he just mention the Red Skull? And I didn't go back. So that's what it was.
Yeah, and then
so this guy is kind of taking over for the Red Skull, but for a very short amount of time.
Well, I mean, at the very end, was that him?
Yes.
So
yes, spoiler, Jack. At the very end, post credits, we see this guy who is head of Hydra.
Yeah.
And he's standing there, and this guy comes up and starts asking him questions or talking to him. And when the guy turns around, he doesn't call him Reinhardt, though. He calls him Dr. Whitehall.
Huh.
And he says, Dr. Whitehall. And the guy turns around, and it is absolutely Reinhardt. And he says something about, I bet you have a lot in your past. He goes, you have no idea. Something like that. I'm sure I'm getting that all incorrect, and somebody's going to write in and tell us how terrible we are. But you know what? Tough to you. It's all Jack's fault. He didn't watch it.
That's right.
So, man, how about, you know what? We're going to go back to the beginning. I'm not going to jump ahead. So, anything else you want to talk about with the Howling Commandos?
No, I just thought that was a really cool opening, and it was kind of a good teaser for what's to come, I think in February, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that this guy, now, I don't think that this guy is going to be a problem for Agent Carter, because I have a feeling that the series is going to take place after the point we saw tonight, because that would be really weird if they went back and showed her just taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. and leading up to them capturing Reinhardt. I think it's going to be immediately after that. And I think that is a good place to start. So I don't think he's going to be a factor there, but it was cool to see this like weird Hydra Nazi thing again. And it also makes me think there is, with seeing him at the end there, I mean, come on, the Red Skull's got to come back. There's no way he's dead.
But I don't think they're going to use the skull here in S.H.I.E.L.D., though.
No. But the way they tie this into the movies, I mean, he's got to resurface. He could very well be teamed up with somebody in an Avengers film. He could come back and cause major problems for Cap in like Cap 4. It's very possible.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I would really like to see that, frankly. So, okay, now this guy, this Dr. Whitehall, is not from the comics, from what I can tell.
No, I think he was it. Did they say David? Because there is a Daniel Whitehall who is with
In
Hydra in the comics. I think they call him the Kraken.
No, really?
Yeah.
Because I know, well, this was Daniel Whitehall in this, but I thought he was made up just for this show.
Well, I just pulled it up on Marvel's wiki, and it's showing me
and it does list Daniel Whitehall.
Daniel Whitehall.
Okay, well, that's him.
The Kraken, or current alias is the Kraken. Other aliases is Leo. Affiliation was Hydra, formerly Zodiac. Yep, that's what's showing. It's not. I mean, it doesn't look like he's got huge history, but it's kind of where they're going with it. So it's not a bad idea to take a character like this who's probably had a few notes and make him something else.
Flesh him out for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the strengths of this show is they have that ability. Let's take the Absorbing Man. I mean, this was the big baddie in this episode, Jack. The Absorbing Man was in it, and I thought this was great. Carl Creel, isn't that his name?
Carl Crusher Creel.
Yeah, he was a fantastic character in this and a perfect supervillain to introduce here. Just like when we had Graviton, when we had what's his name, Blizzard or whatever. Those are really like the right kinds of characters to surface here. At least that's how I feel about it. And I thought this was a perfect fit. I thought this was great. And it was really cool. I love when his hand turned to diamond. I love when it turned to rubber. Like the whole time I was like, oh, this is outstanding.
Yeah, they did a really good job with him. I mean, because they could have cheapened out and just said that, his skin just takes on those properties. But they showed, him change a few times. He changed into the wall, he changed into the wood, he changed into the diamond, he changed into like a rock.
How weird was that when he changed to the wood and the voiceover is like, yeah, he gets some kind of pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
It showed him turn to wood and he's like, oh yeah. I was watching it with Molly, my daughter, and Molly says, she goes, he's Groot at that point. He was Groot.
But the best scene though was when he grabbed the chain and the ball, because in the comics that's one of his weapons. He comes with basically like a ball and chain, and he usually whips that around because he absorbs that material. And he absorbed like a gold ball and chain and was whipping it around.
It wasn't gold. If they had gold sitting out there, I don't think those chains.
No, it wasn't gold, but like it was like
it was brass.
Brass. Thank you. I couldn't think of the proper element.
That's all right. You know what, Fitz? It's okay. We're here for you. So yeah, I thought that was just really cool. I thought he was an awesome bad guy, and I want to see him come back. That's, I think, one of the strengths here is in this new era of S.H.I.E.L.D., in this second season. They don't have to tell stories where bad guy arises, bad guy gets beat, bad guy goes to jail. This guy, I mean, he's still out there. He's done his thing, but at any time, this guy could pop back into the picture and be a problem for him. I think that's a really cool way to do it.
No, and I mean, the other thing too is it doesn't have to, kind of like the last one where we had to, before the show really, really, really picked up with Winter Soldier. I mean, with S.H.I.E.L.D. being down and kind of the setup right now that they're rogue and they go black and it's more of a spy espionage than kind of like a CIA FBI kind of show. It can go any way they want, and they don't have to, I guess, abide by the stories coming up, with Ultron and things like that. And I think that gives them some freedom to do stuff with these secondary characters that maybe they weren't going to before, because they could keep going with Hydra. And then, even though it looks like there's going to be some involvement with Hydra in Age of Ultron, it just seems that it doesn't have to tie into it. They don't need to, 1, 2, then 3 has to happen. It can go all over the place.
Right.
So I like that.
Right. They really can. I agree. Now, a couple other things that were standouts, at least to me. Actually, I want to point out something. We're hardly talking about the original team here. That's kind of interesting. Because last season, so much, especially in the beginning, the whole first half of the season was just focused on the team. Here, I mean, it's really about everything else going on. And the team is just kind of the glue.
Yeah.
Although the story of the team was really good. I think that they've done enough to establish the team's story now. Now they've got a bigger story to tell.
Right. And we know the team.
Right.
They're not going to be able to, especially with the team that we've got here, like trick us like they did with Agent Ward.
Right. Okay, Agent Ward. Let's talk about Agent Ward. Jack, Agent Ward was back.
All right. So where are they going with him?
He is Hannibal Lecter. He is in a cage, and Skye got to go talk to him, and he was creepy and weird, and
tried to
found out
kill himself.
He tried to kill himself
multiple times.
And that was one of the best lines in the show when he said, he tried to slit his wrists and then he said, I ran into the wall. Like fast, like trying to give himself, brain damage or whatever. And
so he's stupid.
And Skye goes, "You should have run faster."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's awesome."
Like, what do you want? Sympathy from me?
And I didn't get the whole like she's heartbroken thing. I got more of the Black Widow dealing with Loki in that scene.
Yeah.
Well, and the cool thing is Agent May has been training her, so you can see a difference in her.
Yes,
you see.
She's
you
mini
see
May
more
now.
of a May in her.
Well, they even had the same like leather outfits. Definitely the Black Widow outfit.
Oh, very cool.
That leather shield outfit. I was like, they looked cool. Skye definitely is no longer the kid of the team. And Ward. I mean, I was starting to think of Man of Steel where he had the beard.
Yeah.
And then it turned into Hannibal Lecter. So.
And I told you from the very first, I never did like Ward. I didn't like his character. I always thought that there was some underlying just like...
Well, he didn't get interesting until he went bad. And now he's great.
Well,
I was into him tonight. I thought it was cool.
Were you into... Because I think he was a good character until they started like... now he's just kind of compromised and he's just kind of like this weird, like, slit my wrist and run in a wall guy.
Well, and also
I think you're wrong.
And it looks like what his role is going to be, at least early on, is for intel, because that's why Skye went down to talk to him to find out, because they had on the Shield report that Carl Crusher Krill was dead, and
and it turned out Garrett had recruited him, and they were able to find stuff out by talking to Ward. Now, okay, Alil, what do you think? Are they going to redeem him?
No, they better.
Thank God, I hope not.
But the thing is there was a line right there because he was like in this crazy like electronic prison where she could control with an iPad.
Yeah,
and like as soon as he was saying some stuff as she was walking away, she like shut the door on him, which basically like put this big concrete wall up.
Yeah.
And he dropped a line right there that he wanted to talk to her about her father.
Yes.
And then it kind of, went to the next scene. So it's kind of like if you didn't pay quick attention because it's really quick, you could have missed that drop line. But I do think that he's going to have a big role in that. And, my guess is, that's how he is going to get out. It's going to be that group that's somehow going to get him out, and he's going to be you
think the group that her father is from. Now her father is going to show up. It's Kyle MacLachlan is playing her father.
Yep.
Now what I wonder, something I was thinking about with that is because I've heard a lot of rumors about who they think her father is, and some of them actually came from bits and pieces that they have said themselves, like that Chloe Bennett has said in interviews where you're like, wait a minute, she's kind of dropping hints about who people are. From what I understand, it doesn't fit for me that Kyle MacLachlan is her father. So what I started thinking is, I wonder if we're going to find out that he's like an adoptive father or something else, like he's not a superhero or a supervillain. You think that's possible? Like instead, we saw that bloody hand at the end of last season. What if that's not Kyle MacLachlan, even though he says he's her father?
I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. I might be completely whacked on this one. Once again, I've been hanging out with Fitz.
I feel so bad for Fitz, man. That was it was so sad. Like the whole time, I thought it was weird that like.
Lil has feels.
I do have lots of them, but like it was just so like he's talking to Simmons the whole time, and she's like, finishing his sentences, and like there was that one scene, and I want to watch it again. I wish I had, I was at home with my DVR just to see that scene where he was examining like the bullet that turned into this piece of skin, which was kind of a cool part.
Well, and she's just standing there. It's like The Sixth Sense. When you go back and watch it, because I did rewind and watch a couple things, nobody interacts with her.
Right. So he's like, he sees dead people, basically.
Yes, exactly. It's just like The Sixth Sense. Spoiler, he sees dead people in The Sixth Sense. I know it says it on the poster. Spoiler. Anyone listening, if you haven't seen it, you know what? Just forget I said anything. I'm like the silence. You just forgot everything. So, okay.
If it were only that easy.
Let's talk about some of the some other things. The Clonigs are making an appearance, and everyone's asking about them. We've got Koenig,
Yeah.
And everybody's asking, like the other agents are starting to wonder, like, really? How many brothers does this guy have? And what's the deal? Why isn't he upset about his brother dying? I thought this was good. We know he's going to be a life model decoy, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I thought. It was either that or some kind of clone. But
yeah, it's got to be. He's either a Clonig or he is an LMD. There's no two ways about it. It's one of the two.
And they set up in the first Avengers movie that there are life model decoys. So
right, because Tony Stark drops that line, right?
Yep. So
doesn't he say it? Does he say it about Coulson?
He says it to Coulson when Coulson's trying to call him when he goes to Stark Tower to
right. He says, this is Tony Stark's life model decoy.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, I love that Patton Oswalt was on. They can have him on every episode. He's a great character in there. And I mean, frankly, if he's a life model decoy or a clone and they've got tons of these guys, we could have him in a bunch of episodes. So I'm good with that. Jack, I know you were a big fan of his last year too, right?
Oh yeah. It's just such a great character. And it really kind of outlines that LMD kind of, it's like you kind of get attached to him, but it's okay if he gets blown up or because there's
we could have multiple Patton Oswalt deaths on this show.
Oh yeah.
Every week, see how they kill Patton Oswalt differently.
Oh my God!
They killed Kenny. He's gonna be the Kenny of the show.
That was a race to get to that joke, and you know what? It wasn't that funny. So that's par one for us.
Well, there you go. So I can see how we've progressed into season 2 now.
Oh dear God! How about Brigadier General Talbot? I am excited about this character.
So what's his deal?
Well, we saw him at the end of last season. He was the one that was like, he wants nothing to do with S.H.I.E.L.D. or with Hydra. He's all military.
Right.
And in this one, he goes on TV and he's like, I'm basically hunting Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't care. They all need to go away.
Now, he's actually kind of a character from the early comics. Is that the one?
He's the one that was the Hulk hunter.
Yeah, he worked with General Ross. They were like buddies, and he always had a thing for Betty, and he's been involved with the Hulk comics for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and that's why we kept saying last year that the Hulks are coming to this. There is going to be a point when there are going to be Hulks of some sort, and he's going to be the connective tissue there. Gross. I really believe that.
It could be a good opening to add in, She-Hulk here, because I don't think she's a strong enough character for her own series.
Oh, Lil, you said it before I said it this season. Please let that happen.
Well, the thing is we also have the Absorbing Man. So right there, we've got two characters that are, in the Hulk universe, the Hulk comic. Yeah. So I think that might be something that they could be leading up to, because, we're not getting.
If they gave us an episode where there was a She-Hulk and they used the same technology they did to bring the Hulk to life on this big screen, I mean, that would be a ratings blockbuster. Forget Arrow, where the guy just puts on a hood. You have somebody Hulk out into She-Hulk, or even you have Captain General Ross Hulk out into the Red Hulk. People would go crazy. That would be it would be must see. Even if it's just a short little thing. Oh my God.
It would. I mean, I don't think it should be a reoccurring. Okay.
No, it just needs to be something that's out there.
Well, here's this. How about Lucy Lawless's character, since
okay, Lucy Lawless is in it, Jack.
Spoiler alert. She dies.
Okay, she's not dead. There's no
They
way.
cut her arm off as she was in the. Well, that's what I'm saying.
How about that? She gets her arm cut off, and then the absorbing man crashes in, or they crash into the absorbing man, and the car's flipping. I'm like, really? Didn't she just get her arm cut off? This can't be good for her.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe.
But she made the reference. She said, when just before that, she was like, when they were going to cut it off, she said, they do amazing thing with bionics now. So who is she going to be?
That's a good question.
Female Deathlock? I don't know.
Do you think?
Femlock.
It's a fembot from Austin Powers.
Fembot.
Femlock.
You know what? That wouldn't be bad.
I'm in.
And then Austin could defeat with his little dance. Yeah, blows their heads off.
Little gas jets kind of poke out of her nimblies.
Her nimblies. That's the crossover I'm waiting for. Austin Powers and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, that would be.
No, you know what?
Oh,
Once
my
again,
God.
when we do Spider-Man 68, we're gonna have an Austin Powers crossover.
It'll be called Austin Powers 69.
I'm back in 69, baby. That would be awesome.
Shagadelic.
Oh, make that one happen.
Well,
Why haven't they hired us yet to do these things?
Gee, I wonder why. Disney's
really
listening
are
to
a
us having
nightmare.
heart attacks. Like, like next time we show up to go to the park, they're gonna be like, "No, you're banned."
Right.
How
The
do you
men
know?
in ears come and take us away.
Into like the under caverns of where they hide all the cast.
So, Alil, did you catch when we first saw Talbot and he was out? Not the first time we saw him, but when he was out and the absorbing man attacked him, did you notice the green around him?
no.
Do you remember in the Hulk movies how we kept talking about how there was all this green every time the Hulk was around? And you see it in the Avengers too, like when he's outside, like there's always a lot of green. If you watch, when Talbot is in that park, there's a kid that's standing right in the forefront of the picture, bright green shirt. There's another one behind him walking by in a green shirt. There was all this green, and all I could think about was Hulk stuff.
Huh. Well,
So that's another one. I think those are little clues.
Maybe
that
they're
dropping
setting
in
something
there.
up here with that. I mean, you don't need Ruffalo if you're going to throw CG Hulk in there somewhere.
But I don't
just
think you even need to throw the big man in there. I think you've got other Hulks you can put in here.
yeah, but I don't think they'll go with Red Hulk. I mean, if anything, it's She Hulk because she's the most known.
Right. Well, you could do She-Hulk, but if that works, it opens your door. You can have a Red Hulk or a Red She-Hulk appear at some point.
Ooh, green She Hulk and Red She Hulk.
Oh, please. And have the story where the Red She-Hulk is essentially a bad guy, even though she's not. But in the comics, everyone's misinterpreting what she's doing and thinks she's a bad guy. Have her have to fight the Green She-Hulk. That would be and like Coulson's people just standing there like, I don't know what to do.
And that's what I was saying. Maybe one of these characters can be Lucy Lawless. Maybe that's because they pull her out of the car and she's got some life, and Talbot's got access to everything that Ross had, and they, super soldier serum her up because he sees that they're dealing with superpowered beings, and they go that route.
Sure. Now, here's what I'm wondering with Lucy Lawless. So now she's lost her hand, and they're obviously going to make it bionic. They're not going to just grow a new one, okay? And you might be right that it's a female Deathlock. There's a character that I actually think is an interesting character in Marvel that I hadn't really thought of appearing here until now. I was thinking about her when Lucy cut her arm off, okay? Do you know who Misty Knight is?
I
idea?
can't recall.
Okay, Misty Knight, there's a series that, what is the name of it? I got to think. You know what? Once again, somebody call Charlie. Get Charlie on the phone. She was partnered with Iron Fist. She's, let's see, where is it here? She's been in Marvel Team Up, Marvel Premiere. I'm trying to see. There's a series I actually read where she was one of the two main characters. Okay, hold on a second. She was in Heroes for Hire. We've talked about that quite a bit. And Defenders. Okay, now Misty Knight is African American, okay? And she has like crazy like kung fu abilities, and she's bionic, and it seems like a bunked up character. But you know what? It's not. It's an awesome character. It could really be something cool. She was in Civil War. She was in World War Hulk. She's been in a lot of different things. Oh, I know what book it is. In Marvel now, she's in the Fearless Defenders.
Ah.
Do you know what that one is? That's the one where she's paired up with Valkyrie. And Valkyrie, once again, we all know, anyone that listens to the show knows that I like the Sif and Lorelei. Valkyrie's another one of those. Another one from Thor's world that is really interesting. And Misty Knight is paired up with her. Now, once again, is it the greatest comic? No, but I like these characters. I think it's cool, and that could be what they're going to do with Lucy Lawless, is make her into essentially like Misty Knight, because they're not going to put a blaxploitation character on here. They're just not going to do it. So why not reinvent the character and make her Misty Knight, or make Misty Knight into, what is it, Isabel Hartley? I think that's the way it's going to go, because she has a bionic arm. She has some other bionic parts, which they would probably have to do after this injury, and they could very well use either the super serum, they could try gamma technology, whatever they do, they're going to bring Lucy Lawless back. You don't kill her after 10 lines in a show like this.
Agreed. I mean, I'm still shocked that this is all that they had her do. And
Yeah, and what did you think of her team?
her team was all right. I mean, I thought they were all just throwaway characters. I anticipated all of them to die in this episode. I was still shocked the one guy was alive.
I actually didn't. I'm taking a different stance on this. It was Lance and Idaho. Lance Hunter and Idaho were her two guys. And I kind of got the vibe that they are another team. Like, we could have a splintered off story once in a while with these guys. Because Coulson now is the connective tissue. Forget the team itself. I mean, the team is going to be there and doing its thing. But now these teams, these other teams, if they have 2 or 3 other small teams that have to answer to Coulson, that have somebody like a Misty Knight leading one of them, or are involved with a Deathlock or whatever, all of a sudden you can have these interesting other storylines going on that are all reporting back to Coulson, and have his team there with him. So you're still getting their story, but every week it's not them out there battling, bad guy of the week. Do I sound crazy on this? I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think it's. I just don't think they're going to go away from the main characters. There's a lot of story.
I didn't say go away from them. I'm saying you can expand the stories and feature another team, yet still, because Coulson is there with the team, and you still have that story going on. And they do like they did this week. They show up and they're backup, or they're in the shadows helping. They're solving stuff back at the lab.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't sound convinced.
I still don't see it, but I guess.
You know what, Alil? You are off Spider-Man 68. You don't have the vision. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I have the vision.
We're going to take someone else with a little vision. I'm so sorry. You need to go back over the border.
You've been banished to the outreaches.
That's right. You are going to Vault D.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, Jack, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about what's gone on here without really giving the whole story. We've just talked about stuff happening. Are there questions that you have? Are there things that you're looking to find out? Did they hit?
I guess the only real thing is, seeing what they do with Fitz. And right now, I think they've just kind of left him a drooling mess. I don't know what they're going to do with Ward, because I really think that whole thing is just really awkward. It's kind of like breaking up with a girlfriend, and then kind of like you keep kind of texting her, and it's just kind of weird. I don't know.
Well, I think they need Ward around, because he knows more about Hydra than most people, and some of the information that they gave out in this episode show you that Hydra is still big on the map. Because
he's going to be an information source, that's for sure.
But that also means that he has to be willing, like he's willing to do this, which means at some point they're either going to have to kill him or redeem him. And I don't know that he's a character I really Like,
Yeah, but that's just it. That could be a long time before they redeem him. They could use him for information. He's not in maybe every episode. When they go to him, because if they're going to him every episode for info, that's going to get old quick.
it is, but even
and if they redeem him too quickly, we're not going to buy it because I mean, this guy was a bad guy. He killed a lot of Shield agents.
Well, I think if it's a redeem, it's a redeem to the death. He'll redeem himself.
Like he dies as he's getting redeemed,
right? And then there'll be some sadness just because but. And the only person that he's going to save would be Skye because he's got this crazy, like you said, Lecter, hello Clarice, hello Skye,
he does.
Like obsession with her, and I think that's why. I mean, Coulson knew it. Coulson played it right that he was going to talk to her and give things up to her because he's just nuts.
Yeah.
But I think that's how it's going to happen. I think it'll lead into something with her father down the road. Where he's going to somehow save her, and in his dying words, just say something like I always will tell you the truth, blah blah blah, then die.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it won't be a full redeem because yes, he died doing finally something good. It wasn't the whatever the whipping boy or the puppy to Garrett, but it'll be enough to do something for the character to have some kind of remorse, but you're right. I mean, because nobody who's watching is going to care because of everything he did last season.
Sure.
Yeah, and like I say, I think it is awkward. I think that's the best way. They'll figure out this whole Hydra because they just disassembled the whole Agents of Shield. It has gone from basically like this huge, massive organization to basically a guerrilla force team acting outside of the U.S. government. So,
right.
Other than the fact that really how much inside can we really see, it remains to be seen. But I don't know what we're going to get out of this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we covered everything. Did you guys have anything else for this episode?
No, I guess I should watch it.
This was interesting because last year when we did this show, there was a lot of laughing and like speculation and stuff. This episode in particular was a little more low key, and I think it's not the addition of you, Alil. I've certainly podcasted with you, and no, that's not it. I think.
What does that mean?
I was going to say, what am I boring and not funny?
No,
we're not going to laugh because I'm on the show. Oh, sorry, you can't make fun of the Mexican guy.
I knew you were Mexican. No, what I mean is that when we add you in, it does change the show slightly, and I'm not thinking that's why this was different. I think it's because this was a very dense and kind of dark opening to the season.
It was. There was no fun to this episode at all.
I'm hearing it for you and I'm hearing a lot of like processing after what we just went through. And Jack, you didn't go through anything, so
not that you know.
Yeah. Oh, you're going through something.
I can't wait to hear your comments on the Halle Berry Catwoman cameo in this episode.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, we'll just leave that there.
I'll just be sitting there on the couch like, oh, when is he coming? When is he coming? Yes, Clarice.
Yes, Clarice. Oh, my God.
I will only talk to Halle Berry.
Oh, my gosh. All right, let's end this thing. And then next week, I'm really excited to see what happens next week. I'm not excited to see what happens to Fitz. My heart's going to rip out. But I am excited to see what happens.
They're going to give him some bug juice and he'll come right back.
Oh,
they're going to have to. They're going to have to. I mean, it would just
They got to get him back to functioning and let him, drop a word here and there so we remember he's got brain damage, but he can't be like this. This is a mess.
Maybe what they'll do is like he'll be talking and he'll be like up, and then somebody smacks him upside the head.
Like Porky Pig. Actually, I just had another thought. They could go a different way. This could send him into supervillain territory at some point.
Oh God, no! I mean, he can.
It could.
Oh please! He cries every time they're going to shoot him.
Yeah, but he started to change last season, and if he takes, like, he injects himself with something to try to make himself better, like when he realizes that it's as bad as it is, and he goes and he takes that alien juice and tries to fix himself, and it goes wrong, it could happen.
Now, actually, what would be really fun is if it actually like changed his appearance, but like he went back to normal, but he's like this like kind of like weird retarded centauri kind of 3-armed creature.
Yes,
that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Sorry if
I am so into that idea.
Sorry about the politically incorrect homonym, though. Sorry.
Yeah, saying Shatari, I know. So, all right, let's end it. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been the Nuff Said podcast with your brand new, spanking new lineup. I'm just really excited for this season. You can find past episodes of this and all of our podcasts, including our awesome summer series, which was very popular and a blast to do, where we went through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can find that at our website, which is southgatemediagroup.com. You can send us an email, communicate with us at our email, which is southgatemediagroup@gmail.com, cleverly named. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter, basically everywhere. Alil, you are on another show. Why don't you pimp that? We talked about Jack being on Blacklist, but what are you on?
I do the League of Geeks podcast, and that's Geeks with a Z. And
all right. And what's your Twitter over there?
Twitter is @LOGEEKZ. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at the League of Geeks, and also at www.theleagueofgeeks.com.
Yeah, and I actually have been doing some reblogging of your stuff on Tumblr, and you don't have a Tumblr page yet, but I'm sure that's coming. And so check out League of Geeks. It's awesome. You can also check out our partner. We have a partnership with a website called showratings.tv, where they rate and review different shows. I'm sure they're all over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The thing that I like about this site, number one, I think that their reviews are clever, but I also like that you can review stuff yourself and share it on there, and it does like a cumulative user rating. So it's kind of fun, Some of the writers have said that they might give a 5 to a show, and the fans give it an 8, and they're like, "Wow, I really missed the boat." Whereas most sites don't do that; they give it a 5, and they're like, "This is the law," So showratings.tv, definitely check that one out too. I think that's it. Unless you guys have anything else.
I have my Twitter's @J1Grosky, and for the Blacklist, we do have a Twitter @BlacklistPod, and we have a Instagram account, so check that out.
Very cool. You have a Tumblr account too. And my Twitter is @RSouthgate, or I tweet from this show very often, which is Nuff Said Pod. So there you go. I think that's all of our stuff, all the business out of the way. I am returning Rob Southgate.
I am joyless Jackman Grosky.
And I'm the absorbing Alil.
And Alil for the win this week. That's it. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Nuff said.
Nuff said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.